Hello and welcome, all agents, trainers, former wizards, Pikmin bloomers, guardians, and most specifically, wayfinders, to episode number 24 of the Wayspotters podcast. Wayspotters is a place where Niantic Tintino hangs out in his spare time. Wayspotters is proud to be powered by the Pokemon Professor Network, and today we are live. Well, unless you're listening to this on Sunday morning when it drops, but indeed, this is a live recording on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. So you guys will get a chance to see the stuff that we normally cut out. So consider yourselves lucky. As you know, I'm Blame Jamal, and I'm always joined by my other host, Lachlan. Lachlan, good day.
G'day, Jamal. How's it going?
It's going fantastic, Lachlan. This is awesome. We're doing this live. We just had our patron Zoom call with the patrons from the Lured Up family, and we are inching ever closer to GoFest. How exciting is that?
GoFest, is that a Wayfarer festival?
It is a festival where a bunch of people all hang out and like touch their phones a lot and pretend that they catch things. It's loosely associated with what's that game called? Pokemon Go?
Ingress.
Yeah, Ingress.
Yeah.
Pikmin Bloom. That's what it is. So it's loosely associated with that. So which is pretty awesome. But Lachlan, I bought my plane ticket. Did I tell you that?
Well, I can one-up you on that, Jamal, and because we have a bit of a visual medium, I have my passport and I have my plane tickets.
Ooh. Well, Lachlan, so for our live audience, which is really awesome, I bought my plane ticket with a new airline. I don't know if you've heard of them. Have you heard of Niantic Wayfarer Airline?
I have not, Jamal. What is a Niantic Wayfarer airline?
Well, as you know, Niantic Wayfarer Airline is a brand new sponsor of the Wayspotters podcast, and they wanted to play a little informational message, and I'm going to play that for the people here right now. You ready to hear the little message from the Niantic Wayfarer Airline?
Go ahead. Let's play it.
Hello, explorers. Welcome aboard Flight 1331 on Niantic Wayfarer Airlines, with service from Brisbane, Australia to Charlotte, North Carolina. We are currently in upgraded next status for takeoff and are expected to be in the air in approximately 3 days to 7 months. We ask that you please fasten your seatbelts, review all your criteria, and make sure you have passed your test. At this time, please secure all baggage, trees, and any live animals underneath your seat or in the overhead compartments. We also ask that your seats and table trays are in the upright position and you are prepared to review a minimum of 25 nominations before takeoff. Please do not submit any private residence, K-12 schools, body parts, natural features, or any photos taken from a vehicle. There are license plate detectors located in the bathrooms, and if we experience any tilted orientation, agreements may drop from the ceiling. Little free libraries are not prohibited for the duration of this flight. In fact, we encourage them. Thank you for choosing Niantic Wayfarer Airlines. Enjoy your flight. And hashtag meet you out there.
Very exciting. I'm really pumped to fly on Niantic Wayfarer Airlines. And I hear a nasty rumor that our good friend Tintino works on that airline in the first class area, but I bought a coach ticket. So we'll see.
You're loving having the T word back, aren't you, Jamal?
I am loving having the T word back, yes, because we don't talk about Tintino. Well, Lachlan, it looks like we do have some friends in the chat. Jason wants to know if they use Lightship. You know, Jason, I think they use Lightship instead of rocket fuel to get the plane to fly from Brisbane to Charlotte, because that's quite the long flight.
See, because we're live, you have to endure the dad jokes live as well. He does. I don't think he's pre-recorded that little segment yet. So, yeah. Also, I know it's a little late in the US for some of our listeners right now, but thanks for sticking with us. When we start our streams on a Tuesday lunchtime for me, or over in the US on a Monday night. This is right after our Patreon Zooms. And if you do want to join in on those Zooms, Jamal and I try to make it every week, but Ken and Adam are normally there every week. Hello, Rookie. It's as little as $1 a month to join the Patreon, and it's a lot cheaper if you get it at an annual tier. And you can support us by paying for the hosting, paying for the service that we use to stream, etc., etc. Jamal and I get no financial incentive out of it, except that we can keep doing what we want to do for free.
And we can do it, and we love it. So, Lachlan, let's dive into topic number 1. Should we play your new intro? Your new intro?
We have a new intro?
Yes, your new intro for the news. We've done it 2 weeks, so it's playing right now on the podcast.
Oh,
people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
See, there's this show that I don't actually listen to the entirety of the show every week. I just sort of skip through the highlights of it.
It's fine because I listen to it like 4 times when
So you're
I'm
making
editing
up for
it.
me. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. When I'm editing the show, I have to listen to every single second to make sure that I get everything in. So I never really listen to it once it's published because I've heard it 4 or 5 times. So, topic number 1, Lachlan. Now, I know this topic is something that is near and dear to your heart, which is kind of why I picked it, because I know you love little free libraries. So, I was scrolling through the community forums as I was kind of looking to see what was going on in the community, to see what people were talking about so we can be relevant. And I wanted to know why there are differences between countries. Like, what are the differences? There was a question posted on the community forum by PD Schroeder Pogo that made me want to talk about this today, and I'll read the question. I know that little free libraries typically make good nominations, and I'm curious, though, about what to do in the case of the little free library that is basically touching the sidewalk, but may technically fall on private property. Do we just reject in this case, or do we give them a pass because they are accessible to the public? What takes precedence? So, Lachlan, do you want to just kind of go over what Niantic's guidance currently is for little free libraries? Where do they stand on the issue?
Yes. So this is where local knowledge is really important. An Australian reviewer, we know that anything from the fence line to the sidewalk to the road is government land, so that is public property. In the US, that's not always the case because a lot of homeowners take the responsibility and homeowner associations take the responsibility of managing that land. We had a thread on Twitter about our survey marker friends. Flashback to episode 23, which Jamal and I only recorded about 3 days ago. And the comments that came from that discussion lead to what's the definition of private residential property in various parts of the world. So in the UK, it's the same, where the fence is the homeowner, in front of the fence is the government's worry. So it depends on where you are. So step 1, where are you geographically? What is that land? Is that land public land? Or is that, so Rookie's saying that Norway has public sidewalks too. So I think it's starting to seem like the US is the exception here.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, what is private residential property? Because in theory, the advice is if it's within 40 meters of someone's property. So to use layman's terms, if you could spin the Pokestop from your house before they increase the distance, or if you can interact with the ingress portal from a house, full stop. That's the distance. So they're ostensibly trying to say we don't support couchies
Exactly.
because of trespassing issues that occurred when Pokemon Go first came out and various litigations that came from it. However, they don't police it because they could very easily get this as a single residence area, which they can get from OSM, and just completely blacklist those areas. They could.
Yep, they could.
It would probably take an engineer 1 day for them to put in, but because they know that that is detrimental to the game, they just sort of let it be in the background. And if someone complains, they'll remove the waste spot.
Right. Now, in the US, what's interesting is we know what the guidance is here, and the fence line to the street is not government property here in the US. Like you mentioned, like homeowners associations, like in front of my house, I have to mow that part. Like that's my responsibility.
Yep.
Now, the interesting thing is the wayfinders here in the States, unless it's like in your yard, will approve the little free library that's in the grassy part in between the house and the sidewalk. It's not the official guidance from Niantic, but I think the reviewers are savvy enough to know what the intention of. Yeah, hashtag not sponsored. I think the reviewers are savvy enough to understand what the intention of the person who is nominating that is. And so you will see some little free libraries. As a matter of fact, on my way to work, there are 2 little free libraries on consecutive blocks that are in that grassy area between the street and the sidewalk, where technically it could be considered PRP, but those were approved. And I think I think it's okay, because I look at little free libraries like this. If you're putting a little free library up in front of your house, you don't have a problem with people stopping and interacting with it, or else you wouldn't have it there. And the people who are playing Pokemon Go or Ingress or Pikmin Bloom or whatever the game might be are probably going to spend less time at that little free library than it would take for someone to go through and select a book and leave a book, unless it became a gym. And then even then, you're just sitting in your car in the parking lot or on the street. You're not really actually trespassing, which is why I am a big proponent of, if it's not in your front yard and I'm viewing it on Wayfair, I'm going to give it favorable marks.
Yes. So I'm reading through this thread now, and this is, for context, this is from October of 2021. And big contributor to the forums, the Pharax, is getting in there and providing a lot of thoughts and feedbacks. We've got, just want to shout out, Sea Princess has joined us in the live chat and says, yo nerds, the raids might be the bigger issue and it depends on the state, says Justin. In Kansas, the city owns that land strip. So I think it's really important that you know your local area and who owns it. And that's just a pretty quick Google area. Who owns the place inside my house, in front of my house? Like, as Jamal was saying, he mows the lawn outside his house. I mow the government lawn outside our house too, because that's what we do here. If you can't mow it for any reason, then you can contact the council and they'll mow it. But it's a less neat looking job because they use the big industrial mowers to just run it over. Now, so if you want it looking good, you got to do it yourself.
I think the issue in the States is, depending on where you live, you could live on a border of a state. Like, I live on the border of North Carolina and South Carolina, and there might be different laws and different regulations between the 2 different states. So, like, where Justin used to live with Kansas and Missouri, there might be 2 different regulations. So if you're reviewing something in your state, but you're reviewing for somewhere else, you have to be, you almost have to know what those rules and regulations are. So someone from Texas who may be viewing a North Carolina submission might say that that is completely acceptable, because in Texas, that land is owned by the government and it's okay to have a little free library there, where in my state, you actually you own it, and so it's considered private property. So it makes it really interesting for the Wayfinder to know what to do in those particular situations.
So, yeah, so it's... what train of thoughts just gone? See, this is what happens a lot. We were doing so well. I was busy trying to respond to Jason's comment, so I'll let Jamal leave this what's Lachlan's brain doing moment in the actual show, because it's more reflective of the live experience. So this leads Jason to asking they're talking about the comments, the survey markers, So these are obviously a discussion I got very heated about in episode 23, where Jamal and JT sort of joked that I was being very threatening, where I said, well, Niantic has asked us to open the floodgates, let's open the floodgates. And even since that episode went live, just a couple days ago now, I've had a few people message me saying, hey, I'm going to go out and nominate a bunch, take a bunch of spare photos. And yeah, my wife and I share an iCloud. So when she gets home, I'm going to borrow her phone and use her Pokemon account and nominate another 40. This is a Pokemon/Ingress player. So that's someone who already has 80 nominations up his sleeve. And he's potentially going to nominate 120 of them this week.
That's a large number. Now, Lachlan, when you juxtapose, like my 50 cent worth there, when you juxtapose the little thing, it's the size of an American quarter, right? Or maybe an American $half.
It's so mass-produced. It's so mass-produced.
Yes. And then if you look at that, and then you look at a little free library, which actually serves a purpose for the community, Like, it just seems like it should be reversed. Like, the survey marker should be ineligible and the little free library should always be eligible, because Niantic, if you think about it, a little free library promotes education. It promotes reading for people who are coming up to see it. And the survey marker doesn't do anything. I know the thing that they put out on Twitter about this, that, and the other, I don't even remember what they put, but it doesn't make a lot of sense, because it just doesn't make a lot of sense. And I like the little free libraries almost as much as you do, but I really don't agree with the guidance they've given us on the survey markers, especially in Australia.
Well, the floodgates are getting opened, and I already know a few people have, as I said, who have gone out and nominated since our show dropped on Sunday night. So we'll find out very shortly what's going on, and I hope it's a case of Niantic quickly decides to update their guidance on them, and that would be a good end result for us. And those bastions who did go out early to nominate these things get resulted in some extra portals to hack on their way to work.
Well, it's going to be interesting because, my bonus location is Brisbane. So I should start seeing these popping up here pretty soon if people are submitting those in mass like they've been threatening to do on Twitter. So it's going to be interesting. And I just wonder if Niantic gets what they want and people start nominating those, what would it take for them to reverse their guidance? I almost think that if they start to see 50, 100, 250, 300 of those, then they will be happy because they want those survey markers in the game, and you guys are going to be flooded. And this is where I'll go on your site, Lachlan. People are going to nominate those survey markers in cells where there could be something that's actually interesting, a mural, a statue.
Yes. And that's going to be the waste spot that appears first.
Correct.
I'm hopeful that in future games they continue to use the ones with the thumbs that we have on the existing photos to sort of have a priority over what spawns. However, this is exactly what we saw when Niantic said all types of bridges should be approved. It just went to the 10th degree from that. Niantic adjusted their comments, and we got a more nuanced, should I say, definition of what makes a good bridge. However, in that time, there was a lot of nonsense that got approved and is still live in the game today. I love bridges. Like, do not get me wrong. I love bridges. And that was why I said that on the show on the weekend, because I genuinely love a bridge nomination, because they are great parts of the world that connect two parts of, very important, bridges are great for, exploring and playing around in. And
absolutely. Lachlan, the best part about doing the podcast live is watching the chat, and we get to kind of see what people think about when they're listening to the podcast when it's recorded, and they're like talking to their radios, but now they're typing at us. And for example, Jason, you should go out and nominate all the one in Cessnock. You should. I do that. Go nominate like 10 of them. Take a screenshot and put it on Twitter and tag us so we can see it.
Yeah.
And then we will forward that on to the powers that be at Niantic and let them know you are seriously going to miss out on some really cool nominations, because you're going to have all these little silly quarter size, $50 size discs in the game. And there's going to be things that are so cool you're going to miss out on. That's the thing that disappoints me the most about their decision, is people will just do these and they will be everywhere. You'll be literally tripping over them, and then you'll get up after you fall and you'll see something really pretty. And then we will have to do what Lachlan does and go and remove and replace. Right, Lachlan, are you going to take that up? Remove and replace?
Well, if a survey marker meets Niantic's criteria for inclusion, it's not going to get removed. And just to sort of the comment I've left up on stream for people watching, and Rookie, we're just sort of following the lead of Bossman Ken and Adam, who actually do engage with the chat, because we love our community and we want to be engaged with you while we're doing this. We're not going to do every episode live. It's just sort of every now and again we'll do it live. So this is just a good way of gauging the community feel, because we are talking about topics which the community has a lot of opinions on today.
So, Lachlan, do you want to bring up the comment by the first Hambro, I think it is?
Which one?
It says, it's the part of why I wish we either had a rotating game board or weren't restricted by S2 cells. So
exactly.
This is a very interesting comment.
That's what Wizard did. That's what Wizards did.
Yeah.
No, not Wizards. Catan would rotate it.
Catan. But only some of us got to see Catan. You want to talk about how Catan did it? Because I never actually got a chance to interact with it.
Well, it was just a case of those waste spots weren't sort of, not like a gym where they're, important landmarks in your community. They were just locations to explore in an area, and sort of there wasn't incentive to go exactly to where that way spot was. So, like, you would lose your keys in Ingress if they did that, right?
Right. Correct. Yeah. So I think that's a really interesting thing. And for those of you listening, Niantic has never officially acknowledged the S2 cells. We've figured out that they use S2 cells for placement for both Pokestops and gyms, and the 20-meter rule for Ingress, which is kind of loosely tied to the cells. So we've kind of figured that out on their own. So at any point, they could just decide that they're not going to use S2 cells and go to something else. But we will never know officially, because I don't think that they will ever say that they're using S2 cells, even though we know they are, because the minute they do, then they're pigeonholed into something. Yep. So, I mean, there's always hope. But if they do... Go ahead.
Well, even Ingress technically used a form of S2 cells.
True.
It's just, and that was a very public-facing version of the S2 cells where it comes to the scores for the regional scores. That was done by S2 cells, and that was, I think, one of the key hints that people use. Well, Niantic have used S2 cells historically to block areas. But, I'm always the optimist. I think there will become a day when Niantic thinks, right, we need this new feature. We don't want it to be as abundant as stops and gyms. Why don't we contemplate using some of those waste spots that we're not already using? I really want that to happen. And that's why I'm quite happy to nominate things. And that's why I convinced Ken to nominate on his Pokemon Get Up and Go on Instagram.
Yes.
I think American time this morning to nominate something which might not appear in Pokemon Go now, but it could in the future. I like to live future forward. I don't like to just live in the now, because if you're just thinking about the now, you hurt the future.
Gotcha. Pull up Sea Princesses. I can say her name now because it's been 4 episodes. Sea Princess. Pull up her comment about the acknowledging S2 cells. Actually, the one before that, rotating waste spots wouldn't work with the gym systems. So that's an interesting point there. Again, I never got to interact with Catan, so she has a good point. So part of the reason why people love gyms, or part of the reason why I love gyms in Pokemon Go, is I can get a gold badge, right? We all love our badges in whatever game we play. So if those gyms rotated and I was anticipating and expecting a gym to be there tomorrow morning when I drive down the street and it's not there and I was close. So the core fiber of the Pokemon Go game wouldn't necessarily work with that, unless we did what Lachlan talked about on episode 21, where those hidden waste spots, those light chip only waste spots, popped up as like a Pokemon. I've never played the main series games. What were those, nurseries or
daycare centers, nurseries, breeding centers? There's a whole. They could be, keys to Elite Four. They could be. Look, I would just love them if during a spotlight hour, all of those waste spots just turned on as extra Pokestops during the spotlight hour. They wouldn't count to the gym numbers, but just during spotlight hour, they're able to be spun.
Or what about this, Lachlan? What about this? Here's a crazy idea. So upcoming, I know we're kind of heavy Pokemon Go folks, so just bear with us for a second. But this upcoming community day, if enough people do a raid for a Zweilous, then extra dinos are going to spawn within 300 meters of the gym. What if you met that same criteria to beat the Zweilous, and then all the light ship waste spots within 300 meters became Pokestops or became gyms, something along those lines? I'm sure they have the functionality to do that, but that would be a way to get some of those light ship waste spots into the game. I think that would be pretty interesting there.
So, rookies, the reason we're talking about this is because comparatively, Ingress has a higher volume of waste spots than Pokemon Go. So, and more Wayfarers are Pokemon Go based. So we want to make sure that, well, I love just nominating. I don't care. There's a couple things that I have which would be light ship only, because someone else nominated something else in that park before me. Mine got approved, but was too close to go live in Ingress, so it just sort of sits in the void, where it's not a light ship only thing yet because it was nominated earlier in the game, and that's fine. But I want to see them use this database for something in the future. I don't want it just to sit there and in their big 2 apps not to use it at all.
Right. Now, the one thing that Ken likes to bring up and he's got a valid point that I don't think we've talked about, is the Pokemon Company has a lot to say with what goes on with Pokemon Go, obviously, because it's their IP and it's not just Niantic. So there might be some things going on behind the scenes that we are not privy to that prevents them from doing things like that. I don't know. I'm just speculating here, but I don't think it's a wild speculation to say that the Pokemon Company might want things the way they are and might not want Pokemon Go or Niantic to acknowledge the sales and how that goes on behind the scenes, but they don't mind that we have kind of figured it out and that we kind of do things to manipulate it on our own. Like I've said before, and I'm not running from it, I have used the S2 sales to my personal advantage. In the parks that I've built, I understood the assignment and what it takes to make a gym and what it takes to make a gym and the numbers and how to put gyms in certain clusters. And I've done that.
Yep.
For those of you who are,
to be honest, I think most people have. And I actually have a friend who is Ingress only and Ingress priority. She leveled up in Pokemon Go to get more nominations for Ingress.
Which is the flip side of the rest of us.
And she uses the S2 map to make sure that when she's nominating, she can try and make sure that if it's the cell line goes through it, she can still benefit those friends that she made while leveling up in Pokemon Go. Right. It's a case of we can't just assume everyone does X for Y. There are some people who do Y for X.
This is true. And like Sea Princess said, it's not just for my advantage, it's for the community's advantage. I mean, the coolest thing is to take a bland area, a park, whatever you want to call it, and turn it into an area where people could legitimately play community day, spotlight hour, Wednesday raid day, take an area from no gyms to 3 gyms. And I love it when a blank area crosses up at the red. My big S14s are red, and I can get like a bunch of different gyms all in one area. It does benefit the community. And you guys know, if you've listened, this is episode 24. You guys have listened to this long enough to know that like I do this Wayfarer thing for other people. Sure, I like my name on it and this and that, but at the end of the day, I can go to my park and I don't have to drive across town, and people from my area will come to my park and we all play together, and it's really cool. And especially in the US where gas is $5 a gallon, if I have to drive 1 mile to get to 4 gyms versus 10 miles to get to 4 gyms, I'm going to do the 1 mile. And it's also kind of cool that like I got to pick where those gyms went.
Yeah, and this is something I'm looking forward to doing a little bit this week. One of our friends from a different podcast, who I'm not sure if they want me. Oh no, they tagged me on Twitter. So Masterful from the Incense podcast has reached out to me, and I'm going to sit down with him and we're going to stalk his little village. He already gave me a little bit of a hint of where it was, and I already found about 7 things he can go and nominate.
That's fantastic.
It's a case of this is a small village, so it was hard, but fortunately there's a lot of street view in the area, which is a huge benefit, and there's a lot of unique walking trails. Because it's a country town, so it's going to be a good little fun challenge for us to sort of sit down and do privately.
Did you say rural?
Yes, rural. So it's a fun little country town, and I hope that we can get a little bit of fun when it comes to just getting out there and exploring digitally through Google Street Maps. And Justin, who's one of our patrons from the Pokemon Professor Network, not necessarily a Wayfarer only patron, but Jamal and I have both promised him that one of these live streams we'll start stalking around the area and we'll get boots on the ground and start nominating. And Justin's actually going to look. What
you're gonna be like in Justin's town at some point during your trek. So
literal boots on the ground.
Yeah, literal boots on the ground. That's going to be awesome. So. Lachlan, you said rural, and you know what happens when you say rural on this show, right?
Rural.
Yes. You'll hear it.
Rural.
You just had like 8 moves just happen right now. Moo.
That was 9. Thank you very much.
Rural. Okay, 9 moves. Yeah, rural.
Redacted rural.
Oh, don't do that. Oh, and also don't say Orlando anymore, because I have a clip of you. I've got a clip.
I love you, Orlando, SeaWorld and Disney and putt-putt golfing.
I want to say
Love
thank
Lachlan.
you, Lachlan. I want to say thank you for singing Happy Birthday to me. I played that in the car for the wife and the kids, and they were like, the girls were like, oh, Mr. Lachlan likes you. I'm like, yes, he does. They were like, they were like, he can sing. I'm like, Lachlan's actually like a professionally
Did
trained
you
singer.
extract just my audio track for that, or did you leave the JT overlay?
I let the JT overlay in there. Oh, poor
Because
JT.
you can always just remove the each track and play them separately.
I know.
When you just want to feel special. Next year. Although, did I say 49 in the singing? I don't think I did.
Yeah, you did say 49. Yes.
Oh, good. So
next
it's
year,
one use only.
Yeah. So you even mentioned you were going to age dox me, which is fine. I got gray hair. So here's the plan. Listen to this. God, I shouldn't say this on the podcast because then I'm going to really have to do it. Next year for my 50th birthday, I'm going to take my whole little family to Jamaica.
Jamaican me crazy.
So if you want to come to Jamaica, Lachlan, you have to come, but you have to pay your own way. I'm not paying for you, but I've got to pay for all the other kids. So if you want to come to Jamaica, you can come meet us in Jamaica.
I'm just going to leave this comment up. You're welcome to say it
Whoa!
out loud, Jamal.
Rookie. Are you serious? So Rookie is saying that Rookie prefers Lachlan singing over my dad jokes. That is a blasphemous statement. And I'm going to need a minute to kind of recover from that. So I might even do double the dad jokes this week.
I'm pretty sure we were talking about little free libraries, Jamal. I don't know how we quite got down this rabbit hole. Just so we can wrap up this thread.
Wrap it up before we go. So Lachlan, all right, I'll give you the last word on this, but I want to know. So I remember 4 or 5 episodes ago, you nominated a significant amount of little free libraries.
Yes.
And you were following the Australian rules and they were on that grass strip. So I'll give you the last word on little free libraries as either a guidance for our community, whether Niantic that's their guidance. What's Lachlan's personal guidance?
So if you're in an area where it's public land, make sure you've already reached out to whoever owns that public land before you install the library, if you're the one in fact installing it. Always step one. Check with the owner. But it's a case of you have to make sure that you have approval to do it and then put it in the Niantic system. Also, be aware, if you're going to put a little free library outside your house, you do not know who's going to come to that little free library who doesn't play Pokemon, or you're inviting people in. So you have to be fully aware of what you're doing before you put up this community box.
Yep. Register
it online with the Little Free Library Network. Make sure that it's advertised, it's out there, it's part of your community. Share it on the Facebook groups that your community might have. Get people to donate books and just get it to be a good part of the community. Because, you see it as a spinner in Pokemon Go, or a portal you can hack and link from in Ingress, or a flower you can walk around in Pikmin. But at the end of the day, this is a community object where you can meet up with people of the community and make new friends. And I think that's why Niantic love it. It's educational and it's social. And that's what we all want to see in the game. So just be aware before you do it. I would personally put a little free library outside my house. However, our neighbors have some young kids, and I don't want strangers coming up around them because they like to play in our cul-de-sac. And that's just not comfortable for me to actively be putting them in harm's way.
That's great guidance. That's fantastic.
Let's just
guidance.
Make sure your community is fully okay with it. Check with your neighbors as well and put it up. And you're going to have a good time.
All right. Topic number 2, Lachlan. This one is quite controversial. I brought this up in our Discord, our patron Discord, which you can join for as little as $1 US a month. Great place, full of great people. Disc golf, right? I got really raked over the coals for this. I have always had a problem with this. And folks, it's disc golf holes, not the actual basket, but the place where you throw from, the tee box. In most disc golf places are not in the play area of the disc golf. It's the tee box where you tee off. The guidance from Niantic has been not specific to disc golf, but to regular golf, because they don't want you walking across a golf course, which I completely understand. But disc golf are usually in a park. So I live by 4 or 5 parks that are close to my house within a couple of kilometers. And all of the tee boxes for the disc golf courses in Charlotte double as trail markers, right? So I've been able to get a few of these approved in Wayfarer because I've submitted them as a trail marker number 5 and not disc golf hole number 5, and they've gotten approved. It says disc golf on there, but it is more specific as a trail marker. And I don't understand why Niantic is treating a disc golf course the same as a regular golf course when they are fundamentally very different.
So is this a case of, do you want more waste spots out of a disc golf course, or do you want less?
I want more because I think they are very interesting. I think they promote exploration and exercise because it will get people to walk the park, walk the course, and go to each one of the tee boxes. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be like the little, quarter size things in Australia, but I've actually walked the disc golf course at my local park, and it's very interesting. And it takes you back into some areas that you never would go. And I want to nominate those tee boxes because there's actual trail markers that follow the 18 holes of golf. But I know that the guidance from Niantic is to treat a disc golf course like a golf course and reject those. But I think they're wrong on this, Lachlan. I think that we need to continue to talk about this and we need to continue to post about this on the forums because I don't think Niantic is in the right here. I think the tee boxes should be legitimate points of interest because they fit the criteria in so many different ways. And I want to keep talking about this.
So I'm going to start with Rookie's comment from the live's chat here. So Rookie says, don't you guys think Niantic thinks of real-world consequences, like non-Frisbee people swarming the course? So I'm actually on Team Niantic with this criteria. I'm sorry, Jamal. We don't really have disc golf as a popular thing in Australia, so I'll just start off with that. So there's never really been a circumstance where I want it. Although there is one part in Queensland where I saw one person continually trying to submit more than one hole because they started with number 4 went into voting first, and then all the rest of them kept getting marked as a duplicate because that's what you're meant to do, right? It's one hole per course. Ideally, that would be at the start, and it would ideally be a fenced scenario where it's a bit safer or however. I think Niantic's idea with this is you don't want people walking through the course. You don't want people getting in the way. You don't want getting hit. And as Rookie's saying, Niantic will be looking for liability protection. That's why they don't want you trespassing. They don't want you using Niantic as like, oh, well, there was a Snorlax over there. How do you know there was a Snorlax there? Oh, because it showed me on a little nearby circle. It was at that hole.
But this is a public park. Now, if we're talking about a golf course, I get it. I get the golf course, but this is a public park that I can go walk across this at any point. And my local park between holes, I think it's 5 and 6, is actually the playground where the little Ferris wheel is. So they have to throw the disc over where all the kids are playing and through the swings and up the hill. So obviously, some parks are set up where the disc golfers and the regular people kind of mingle. And I'm not saying the basket, like I get the basket. Don't make the stop the basket. But if someone is walking the trail in my park, they are going to walk along the entire disc golf course because the trail markers follow the holes. So there's 18 trail markers in my park, and they are all the disc golf where they throw from. So all the people who are doing their laps in the morning and all the little ladies in the evening who are walking along the trail, they are walking along the disc golf holes already while they're and it's clearly marked. It's like if you want to do 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers, whatever it is, it tells you where to follow. And there's arrows on the trees that point you in the path. And it's the disc golf area. So the disc golfers, at least in this park, are already following the trail where people are walking.
Now, Sea Princess wants to hold you accountable, Jamal, so nothing's changed. Sea Princess writes, Jamal, would you... Let's try it again. Jamal, would you walk onto a baseball field that was being used? Don't mind me.
Absolutely
I'm just
not.
hanging around in the outfield.
Yeah, absolutely not. That's why I always move the pin away from the pitcher's mound to the third base side or the first base side or behind home plate, because you don't want someone to have to enter the field of play in order to spin it. that's why I'm saying you don't want someone hanging around the disc golf basket because they could get hit by a disc. But if the spinner or the portal is where you throw it from, then you're clearly not in the field of play. So I've been to plenty of parks in baseball fields where they have the pin right on the pitcher's mound, and that makes zero sense. So I would not encourage anybody to walk out to the pitcher's mound and spin it. Those pins should always be on the side. And to see Princess's note there, my park, like I said, from holes 5 to 6, they have to throw the disc over the Ferris wheel, or not the Ferris wheel, but the merry-go-round, and they have to throw it over the swings. So kids who don't know that there's a disc golf course there are in peril every day when there's a disc golf playing. So that argument to me rings a little deaf when they've already set it up that way.
So here's my counter argument. You try to nominate all, how many holes is it? 12?
18.
So you try to nominate all 18. You get hole 1 through first. Great, cool. Good work, Jamal. Hole 2, 4-star visual uniqueness. Hole 3, 3-star visual uniqueness. Hole 4, 2-star visual uniqueness. Where does it become visually separate from hole 1? What point?
But it's the same thing as trail markers. So if there's 18 trail markers,
but we're playing devil's advocate here. Like,
right.
But these are the same thing. This is the same area. Like, take in theory, exercise stations, how people will submit each block as its own thing.
Yeah.
If it shares, I like to say, if it shares concrete, it's one object. So if that shared concrete is just a really long footpath, it's one object. Don't hit the messenger. That's sort of what Niantic's guidance has been. The same with basketball courts. Say that there's 4 courts all next to each other, different colors, but they have the same base area, same fenced area. That's one nomination. If it's a basketball court, a netball court, and a squash court, that's 3 nominations because that's 3 separate activities there, right, in my eyes. And I know we have some people who will disagree with that logic, especially from our Discord back from when we first started getting some patrons. But that's my take on it. But if it's 4 basketball courts, that's 1 basketball area. That's not separate. I also don't understand why everyone seems to think that every baseball diamond should be a way spot, but okay, good for them. But I'm of the same mindset. I don't think it should be every baseball diamond. I think it should be the baseball area if they're all next to each other. If they're spaced out across a park and there's other objects as playgrounds and whatever between it, sure. But if they're connected, no. Because in my eyes, disc golf is one connected path and it's one activity.
So Lachlan, that's where Jamal's creative angles come in. So in my park, there are 4 connected baseball diamonds. And now I'm going to tell Lachlan he's wrong. Yes, I'm going to tell Lachlan he's wrong. So there's 4 connected baseball diamonds, and I nominated each baseball diamond because they happen to fall very nicely into their own S2 cells. But in the photos I took, I make sure that no 2 diamonds are pictured in the same photo. So they look very individual.
But from space, you can see that they're all attached to the same sort of, compound. In my eyes, that's a duplicate because that is the blank park's baseball field. It doesn't. It doesn't matter that there's 4 diamonds because do they probably have a shared pathway going between them?
But they're all individually numbered. They're field 1, field 2, field 3, field 4. And so that's how I nominated them was this is blank park field number 1, blank park field number 2, and so on. So they're all individual fields because they're numbered that way.
But it's sort of the same argument that people have about doing that and making 18 of it. So I'm going to use the example of the Queensland Tennis Centre, right? Which is something I went through and I nominated and got some Wayspots at. They took appeals because there's 3 different distinct types of tennis courts. There is the blue courts, there is the green grass, and then there's the clay courts. So I nominated, even though there's 18 blue courts, all separate, all very separate with fences and everything between them, that was 1 nomination. The clay courts, there's 6 of them, 1 nomination. The grass courts, 1 nomination. I didn't go and number each of these numbered courts, which are publicly accessible. There was 1 compound, so it got 1 nomination.
See, and I think that's the beauty of this podcast right there. You and I look at things in different ways. If we agreed on every single thing, nobody would want to listen. I think of it this way. If there's 4 baseball diamonds and there's 4 individual games going on, then those are 4 individual points of interest. That's the way I see it. You
No.
see it differently.
No,
And
that's like saying, imagine Congress, right? To use an American scenario, there is how many Congress people are there in the US?
435.
There are 435 seats there, 435 different districts represented, 435 different interesting things going on in that building when they're all sitting there. That doesn't mean 435 nominations for every office. You know,
if they're in different cells, I'm nominating all 435, but that's me, right? That's me.
Do you see how that compounds?
No,
I know you're
do.
just looking at it from I probably have 1 or 2 empty S2 cells and I want to get an extra couple spins here. But think of it from what's the next progressive step? Like 433. That's a lot. That's just like, that's a lot. Okay. I'm going to take a step back from this because I've made my point clear, and I think you've made your point clear.
Mm-hmm.
So what I think you need to do, Jamal, is once this goes live, this show, you need to record a video of yourself exploring this disc golf course and state your case, so that when we next record live, we can come back to this topic, and you can try and explain with visual media, not just explaining. Because
I think that's a great point. I think I'm going to go and take pictures and videos.
Not pictures. I want videos. I want a visual representation.
I'll get videos of all the ones that I have not nominated yet. Right.
Why it should be more than one location.
Because to be completely honest, I have probably 4 of them that have been approved in the game. Now, this was some time ago. This was 2019 when I got these approved, and I don't know if they would go through now. But I have.
So was it in the glory
nominations.
days of everything got approved for about a week? Was it that week?
I had so many of them approved.
So,
and I rushed out.
If they are genuinely trail markers, do not say the word disc golf, because if it's genuinely a trail marker, then it's fine. If it's a genuine trail marker,
that's how I got them through. If
it's not a genuine trail marker, then it's not a trail marker. Like, you can't apply this logic to everything.
Right. Well, Lachlan, live show. This is interesting. Let's take a second before we go to break, and let's see if there are any interesting comments from the community, and let's kind of talk about those, and then we should roll to a break and get on to our next part of our show. So let's see here. You put up a comment from Rookie. It's really a folly discussing criteria without visuals. Rookie, you are correct. That's why we're going to come back with visuals. I think this is a good topic, even without visuals, because conceptually, you either fall in one of a couple different camps. So the camp that I fall in is that if you can do an individual action on that specific thing, then it belongs as its own nomination. And Lachlan looks at it a different way of, these things are meant to be grouped together. If there's 4 baseball diamonds and they all share one gazebo, then that's one nomination. So you fall in one camp or the other. And I think hopefully we can convey that without a visual. I think everybody can kind of understand what we're talking about. So I get what you're saying when it comes to visuals, but some things it's a philosophy that you follow, and you either follow one philosophy or you follow the other. Comment is, it's the beauty and frustration of Wayfair in a nutshell. And I think that's a good point, because Niantic leaves a lot in the gray area. They're not as prescriptive as I would like them to be. They allow people like me. I love the gray area. I will dive headfirst in the gray area. And I'm being told,
because you're going gray, Jamal?
See this? They can't see this on
is that
the
why
podcast.
Is that why you love the gray area?
Absolutely. But Sea Princess says I'm wrong, which is par for the course, to go back to disc golf. Boom, boom. All right, I'll insert that later. But I love the gray area because the gray area gets me more of what I want, right? And it also, Rookie, it depends a lot upon the reviewers in your area. So if the reviewers in your area think a lot like you do, like in my area, the reviewers think a lot like me. And when they see individual baseball diamonds, they're like, yeah, that's more spins for us. they will go through and manually, or they will go through and approve those. They won't mark it as a duplicate. Now, in some areas, maybe in Lachlan's area, people will mark that as a duplicate. So it really depends on how your local area feels about certain types of nominations. And for me, I kind of live in a need more stops type of area. As long as it's legit, people will vote for it.
All right. So we also have a fun comment from Woodwoes. Hello, Woodwoes. Wayfair is currently going through its postmodern, post-truth era.
You can always count on Woodwoes to come with something like that. I love it.
So I think Rookie, that's why I think it will be really helpful that Jamal can go get some visual tips on show you what he's in fact trying to explain, because what he's explaining to me sounds more like a trail marker in a park, not a golf course. To sort of use like the X, not Y. So that's where I can look to accept, not look to reject.
I'll get some visuals on that.
All right. Well, I think it's time for a quick break. Our friends in the live chat can join us for this quick break. But those listening to this posthumously will be inundated with Jamal's jokes. Roll to break.
The jokes are going to be good this week. The jokes are going to be really good this week.
Sorry. Hello. I'm still here. So for those wondering what my eyes are darting
You're on
towards,
mute, Lachlan.
I know you can't hear me, Jamal, but they can hear me. So what they can hear me right now, and Jamal has no clue.
They don't get the joke that you do this all the time. Nobody ever hears this because I cut it out.
See, they can hear me, Jamal. That's all that matters. For context, I've just muted my recording track so that Jamal doesn't have to edit out my audio for the segment.
I'm glad I have witnesses so you guys see what I have to deal with on a weekly basis. Do you see this? I have to deal with this every week.
Where are we?
See, Princess, where are you now? Say something. How dare you, Sea Princess?
See, I can mute him, Sea Princess. See, Jamal, that's the beauty of this. I can mute myself, but I don't mute myself to them. Because, well, you don't need to record the fluff in between. Our Cole, where did you find Cole this week from? Thank you. Patreon, awesome. Yep, cool. You just uploaded low-res versions of these things, so I'm trying to get the stream-worthy resolution of this. Because when you put them into the show notes, Jamal, this is some inside baseball for everyone. Upload it at a high res, please, so I can export it at a high res. Well, if they're low res, they don't get put on Twitter. That's why some weeks there's really no Cole. Like Lycra, but like her. Yeah. Yes, that was in the DMs. We just get that DM directly up then. I'm going to get chat to pick an area for us to look at this week. Also, surprise chat. Okay.
Get ready, chat.
Cool. So save.
Just tell me when you're ready and I'll bring us back.
Well, I'm opening Microsoft Paint, Jamal. Give me a second.
All right. Take your time.
I've got to make this look pretty. And yes, kids, I use Paint. No judgments here.
Wait, did I open all my gifts today? I did. I did open all my gifts today.
Look, rookie. Lachlan is the Jeff Dunham of Australia. Oh, I do not have a puppet, though. I do not have a puppet.
See, Princess, I did have an idea. I just left it on mute just because I was playing his game with him. So I knew I was on mute and I just took it off. But Lachlan is super concerned about StreamYard. And what you guys don't see is we have a whole different program running on my other screen that's recording it for the podcast. And that's the one that makes me nervous.
And Jamal, that coal you sent through this morning was a duplicate. I hope you marked it as such.
Which one?
It's just a really, really, really bad photo.
Oh, yeah, I marked it as a duplicate.
Of which of the 3 park signs for that park would be the real question.
Remember, we came across that before when we did live stream last week, remember? It's the same one. And I would have known it was a duplicate unless you showed me.
See, that's where the local knowledge comes into play, kids.
Yep.
Okay, save image.
Rookie says, this is why I want all the podcasts recorded live so I can see those damn nominations they talked about.
What? Great. Get the description, save image, Wayspot 2.jpg.
Are you scheduling the tweet right now?
No.
Oh, okay.
Wayspot 3.jpg.
Oh, I can show chat. Hold on. You didn't see this earlier, Lachlan. Look at this.
Oh my god, you've got to put your face on a shirt.
This was my Father's Day gift.
If I ever say narcissism isn't real.
Hold on, let me move the mic.
We have a literal example of it.
Look at that.
Just sitting there.
I'm
not even looking at that tab right now, Jamal. Just like, he's going to wear that through Seattle. You guys know that, right?
Oh, wait, hold on a second. Ugh.
All right, so I've got that ready to go. If I just pull up this.
And then, Lachlan, I have this for you that I'm going to bring you in Seattle. I've got this. Actually, I think yours is the gray one and mine is the black one, but I think I've got a gray one of these for you. So I got one for you. And you know what? I think I'm going to try to get another one for Justin. Since Justin is a bro, I'm going to try to get one for Justin as well because I know the printer guy pretty well.
All right, so I think you can bring us back from break now. That's a reasonable amount of time for him to put in some dad jokes. I think.
Yes. Oh, yeah. The dad jokes are going to be fire, as the kids say. All right, you ready?
Always.
5, 4, 3. All right, everybody. Welcome back for break. I hope you enjoyed the dad jokes. They were pretty funny, if I should say so myself. And I know, Lachlan, as you hear them, you were going to roll your eyes, and there's some good stuff in there.
Well, I can just skip through it. It's just a couple taps on Spotify.
You don't want to skip through it. They're good dad jokes, right? So did you ever watch the show Curb Your Enthusiasm? That's where the music comes from. Larry David. Okay, so if you enjoy Curb Your Enthusiasm, you kind of get what I was going for with the music.
For context, Jamal is nearly literally double my age. When we first met, he was double my age because I was 24 and he was 48. So
yeah, this is true. Yeah,
I'm literally his 5th child.
Yes. Actually, you fall in between my oldest and my middle. Because, Hannah's 27 and Devin's 25. Yeah, so you've already in there. Anyways, let's get on to one of my favorites segments of the week, Call of the Week. Let's roll Lachlan's intro.
Call of the week, 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 call of the week. All right. So for our friends watching live, here is the call. And let me make it so it doesn't look like a weird thin window for you all. That should be better. All right, friends. So what are we looking at here?
We are looking at a literal green screen. Someone took a picture or got something from their phone. It's a blank, like lime screen. And the description is green, the color of nature. And this comes to us from one of our brand new patrons.
Thanks, Leica. So Leica, as we already gave him a shout out last week, he's a new Queensland-based patron, and I believe he and I are going to be doing Community Day yesterday together, because this will be
Awesome.
for audio listeners Sunday.
Yes.
So
we're looking at a green screen. It's folks. It's legit a green screen. Just imagine your phone, looking at your phone screen, and it's completely green. And you did the snapshot and you uploaded it to Wayfair. The title says "Green, the color of nature." Local art. Here's the description: local artists were employed to paint pictures onto telegraph poles to brighten up our local streets. And I did that without adding any unnecessary punctuation. And the supporting photo, it looks like it's someone
to showcase our local artists and to add more Pokestops to our area for all to enjoy.
And it's like a garage or a shed or something. I don't really know what it is. This whole thing really, this was a confusing one to me because I don't get it.
So let's just go through some of our live reactions to this from # the live squad. So we have Sea Princess, lol, Jason, what the fuck? The Hamtaro, if only it was in uppercase. Rookie,
yes.
Pistachio, the color of nature. Woodwoes, if that shade of green is the color of nature, I think nature needs to see a doctor. Sea Princess is very excited about the concept of telegraphs.
Right.
And the comment I decided to put up was, they were probably some pistachios. ...
Dash dot. Oh, if it wasn't for Cole of the Week, I don't know if I'd be as entertained as I am. Sometimes I just get on review just to find Cole. And this week, Lachlan, we had a literal metric ton of Cole. For those of you who are in the Patreon, please continue to post Cole. We're going to go through and pick the best one and use it for Cole of the Week. This one, it came from a brand new patron, and 2, it was just too good to pass up. Like, this is like, I don't know. This is really, really good stuff there, Lachlan. So I'm really pumped about this Cole of the Week.
Well, on the topic of new patrons, Jamal, did you see who we got between dropping episode 23 literally under 48 hours ago and today?
Who?
Well, you're not paying that much attention. You said welcome and everything.
Tell him.
Goodness me, Jamal. Goodness me, Jamal. This is your show.
Go ahead. Don't hold me in suspense.
It's Pokemon Trainer Jay. Very active on the Way forums and has been a great contributor to us on Twitter as well. So I want to say big thank you for joining the Patreon and welcome to the community. And we'll probably bring you into one of these live streams one day in the future.
We had a nice little chat with Pokemon Trainer Jay today. And when you say very active on the community forums, I mean very extremely active on the community forums. Pokemon Trainer Jay has an opinion on almost everything, and I agree with their opinion on most things. So I'm really happy that they're a member of the Patreon. And
so when Jamal's looking to replace me as co-host, I'm sure he's got a very easy option to add to the pool of potential hosts.
Lachlan, why are you so eager to think that I'm going to replace you? Like, you are my Aussie connection. So when there's Safari Zone Brisbane, I'm staying at your house.
Once you meet the kangaroos, I think I'm done for you. So like, I've got to prepare for the inevitable future.
Because we have to put that out there. So when our friend Tintino is listening and he talks to his compadres, because I can say his name now, say it with me: Safari Zone Brisbane. Safari Zone Brisbane.
Durant. Oh, I didn't get it right. Next time. Safari Zone Newcastle. There we go. Oh, there we go, Jason.
How far?
I'm-
Wait a minute. Is he 4 hours?
Scott-
Is Newcastle? Is that 4 hours from you? Interesting things over coal. Wow. Okay. Rookie's on fire today. All right.
So we have a new friend who's just jumped in, Scottle Gibbs. Hi, Scottle. So we're just in the back end of episode 24 now of Wayspotters. This is our first time recording a regular show live. And where am I staying in Seattle? I'm going to be staying at the Pokemon Professor Network private location. I'm not going to be the one to dox us. Airbnb.
Yep.
And I may also be staying at the Incensed Airbnb for the day I can't do it with the Lured Up friends. So who knows? Who knows?
You might be too hungover to come meet us after staying with the Incense Boys. They like to party.
They like to party.
They like to party. Well, speaking of partying, one of the funner things that we do on this show is highlight a Way Spot of the Week. Is that the location to the Airbnb? Oh, no, that's Newcastle. Okay. I was like, Lachlan, what are you doing? Okay. 8 hours. Oh, so you're 8 hours from Jason. Okay. That's quite.
By car.
Okay. So a day's drive. So Way Spot of the Week, Lachlan, do you have that ready to be pulled up? We can get rid of the green color of nature here and we can go to something that is a little more aesthetically pleasing. And this one comes to us from our friend from Twitter, Boston Blue. Boston Blue sent this to me a couple of weeks ago, and I let Boston Blue know that the next show that I hosted that I would be featuring Boston Blue's Way Spot of the Week on the show, and this is so cool. And if you guys didn't know, Boston Blue is located in Boston. So what we're looking at here, yes, surprise. What we're looking at here is a mural for Vietnamese people, and it's in Boston, Massachusetts, and it was nominated on July the 24th, 2021, and it's in the correct month, year, date format that Lachlan likes, not the way that us Yanks do it, as he says. And it's a mural on the side of a building. And,
no, Jamal, we put day, month, year. This is completely backwards. This is year, month, day. Crikey, no. Do you know nothing about Australia?
No, in the States, we do day, month, year. I thought you guys had it like
in the States. In the States, you go month, day, year. What?
No. So, like, for example, my birth date is June 18th, and then the year I was born, 1973, 6/18/73. So
you go month, day, year, not day, month, year.
Yes. Yeah,
because in Australia it's the date, the month, then the year.
Oh, that's backwards. Yeah, that's backwards. Okay. Anyways, that's backwards. And you also drive on the wrong side of the street, so there's a whole lot of things going on.
You guys drive on the wrong side of the road, which is why I'm not hiring a car in the US, because we do not need to see that chaos that happens.
Well, here's the thing: Australia, you guys do everything like the Brits do, and that bothers me.
No, we don't. We use kilometers. They use miles still per hour for some reason.
Well,
who knows why?
We're going to get into a Queen Lizzie conversation if we don't move on here pretty soon. But anyways, let's go back to Boston. Boston is a town famous for the Boston Tea Party because they were trying to get rid of those dirty Brits, right? So they threw all the tea in the harbor. Anyways, there's your history lesson. Let's get back to this mural. This mural, Lachlan, would you say this is about 3 Lachlans tall?
Maybe 4 Lachlans.
Maybe 4 Lachlans.
Maybe 4 Lachlans.
So this new, large, beautiful mural represents a huge part of the Dorchester ethnic fabric. Located next to the sidewalks as seen in the supplemental photo, it's pedestrian safe, in between a local-owned Vietnamese restaurant and a drink specialty cafe. The mural is accompanied by a plaqued poem. Thanks for the time.
And really cool the description mural for this one is this collaborative mural project celebrates the Vietnamese American community through 3 themes highlighting the cultural narrative, unity, and growth, with a team of artists and multi-generational steering committee of local residents.
Something really cool. That's really cool.
This is a great portrait nomination. I'm a landscape man myself, but for a portrait nomination, I'll accept this.
I like it. I mean, it's good. I'm glad that it wasn't a duplicate, because something like this, they did mention, Boston Blue did mention that it was new, but this is something that, like, if I'm walking down the street, I would like legit stop and like want to look at this a little bit more. Like, this is a really good nomination. So Boston Blue, hats off to you. Great nomination. It was completely appropriate to upgrade this, and I'm glad it went through.
All right, now, friends, for our bonus Wayspot roulette of the week, can we get people putting in ideas of towns for us to go explore? So let's go one letter at a time, everyone. If we can just spam Twitch chat with a letter, and let's spell out what part of the globe. While
Here we
they
go.
wait to catch up.
I'll play some Jeopardy music right here.
C-O-Z.
Ooh, Cozumel.
Kozef.
R-A.
So C-O...
Z.
Z. What do we get for C-O-Z? Z.
Z. Z. Z.
Z.
It is not
Z.
Z, it's Z.
Z.
Oh, goodness.
Z. E. F. So we have Kozef is a place, supposedly.
Is it really?
So let's go to Germany, Jamal, and see what we find.
Okay, let's go to Germany. Let me open the app and let's go to Germany.
So let's have a look around that location, because that's what you get in when you search for Kozef on Google Maps. So, Bremer. Try Z, Justin. It sounds so much better. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. It's just a great way of ending the sentence.
Oh, goodness. Don't.
Now I know my A to Zs.
Doesn't even rhyme. Where are we going now? Tell me the city we're going to.
Achim. It's in the chat there, Jamal.
Goodness.
Achim, Deutschland. The Bremer Straße, 10A.
There's an address. Bremer Street 10A.
Let's see what Wayspots are near this location.
All right.
Load nearby Wayspots. Okay, so the closest Wayspot to this is the Luchtreich. The Luchtreich. So I'm going to put that one up on screen. Give me 2 shakes of a sauce bottle. That's a funny way of spelling Fort Worth.
That's a funny way of spelling Fort Worth.
I just want to say that this nominator does a really good photo. Like, this is a good photo. Don't know who did it, but they did a good photo.
Which one are you looking at?
I'm pulling it up on stream, Jamal. It's the closest one to that location. Some days, kids, I just don't think he listens.
You sound like my wife.
All right, so I've got it up on stream for everyone now. So this is our random Wayspot of the week. So what are we looking at here?
We are looking at a rock. That is a rock.
It's a rock.
It has an address on it. What I believe to be an address. Possibly.
So the Luthereich. So this appears to be outside a Lutheran church at 500 Reformation. So I'm going to say 500. Probably I'm going to say year Reformation.
The year of the Reformation.
This is my guess. 500? This is my guess.
I'll roll with that. I'll go with that.
This is my guess for the Luthereich. But this is a fun, random memorial rock. I'm sure there's a lot more going on to this rock, and the original nominator could have put more detail and context into this. Thank you, Justin. 500 years of Reformation.
Okay.
So I think this is a cool little rock, and for a random rock that we found somewhere in the world, I think this is a great little find. So does anyone in chat have any thoughts on the Luthereich? Seems big to Sea Princess. Yes, it's quite a large rock. I think it's quite cool that we've got a reasonably sized rock for once. It's not just one of those janky, weird rocks, but it's an actual reasonably sized rock.
Can I take this in a different direction, Lachlan, real quick?
Yes, sure, Jamal.
I want to take this in the direction that we talked to JT about last week. How cool is it that we have a Wayfarer app that we can go anywhere in the world and look at a POI? Like, how cool is that? And won't this come in handy for a lot of people doing a lot of things? That's all I wanted to say, Lachlan. That's my commercial for the Wayfarer app.
And I've got another. So I've got another way spot, which is right next to this one, which I'm going to pull up. And this appears to be the Lutheran Church itself. So let me pull that one up here now. Sorry, green coal. But we've got the St. Laurentius Kirch, so church. St. Lawrence's Church. Evangelistic Church in Achim. This seems like a beautiful little village in Germany, and I think this would be a great place to explore. So these are two amazing way spots.
Which one do you think is the gym, the rock or the church?
Well, one of them might be a way spot, the other one might not be.
Right.
Neither of them might be a gym. They could be in different S2 cells. Because remember,
true.
kids, we use the Wayfarer app, and we didn't look at this through Pokemon Go. So
That's right.
I'm going to guess that this big building with the two photos is statistically likely to have automatically become the gym.
Yep,
but
that would be my guess as well.
This is a really pretty little church and cathedral in Germany, and I think this is great that just having chat randomly spell out something for us to Google search, that's pretty cool. Because I probably would never go to the city. If I do, I'll think back to this moment.
I have never heard of Saint Laurinus. No, Kirsty. Anyways. On the map.
Laurentis.
I don't speak German. Okay?
Yeah.
Wait, Lachlan, do you speak any other languages besides English?
No. Oh, well, I speak Australian English and I speak American English.
Okay. And they're definitely different.
Yeah, you have Zs everywhere. We just have S's.
Right. I speak a hair amount of Spanish, enough to go to the bathroom and get drunk. Like I can speak that much Spanish.
Sí. Por favor.
Right. I think everybody speaks that much language. Hey, did you have an appeal of the week this week? Did you have anything come back?
No, I've had no appeals come back this week. Actually, let me double check that. Let me fact check myself. We'll do it live.
Let's do it live.
A neat trick that I do with because there's just been a lot of because it hasn't really been long since we recorded last. No, that was a rejected appeal. And it's that we'll save that for a discussion on another show because that's a trail marker and I want to get into a discussion on it. Well, I think that's the end of the show, Jamal. So I'll let you start to close things off and then we'll hang out with chat for a little bit before we wrap up.
Sounds good. So everybody out there in podcast or Twitch land, thank you for listening to this episode of Wayspotters. If you enjoy what you hear, there's a few ways that you can show us. First, follow us on Twitter at Wayspotters. We are incredibly responsive, and one of us is usually awake to take and answer questions. You can also rate us on the podcast service that you are listening to us on, such as Spotify, Anchor FM, Apple, Google, iHeartMedia, and others. If you ask me, 5 stars are the best stars, and it helps the show's reach. Second, visit our website, wayspotters.com. From there, you can get links to everywhere you can download the show. You can also send us messages directly from the website. Third, for our American listeners, you can leave us a voicemail on our hotline, 732-835-8639. You never know, your voicemail may appear on an upcoming episode of the show. Or you can do what Lachlan's favorite thing to do is tweet us a voice message. He loves it. Finally, if you're not a member of the Pokemon Professor Network Patreon, you can join for as little as $1 US a month. You will have access to the Discord for the entire family of shows across the Pokemon Professor Network, including Wayspotters, Special Conditions, Gotta Watch 'Em All, Purified Podcasts, and the parent program, Lured Up. It's a fantastic place filled with fantastic people. With that, we look forward to you listening to us again next week. May all your delibirds be shiny, and thank you for listening to Wayspotters.
Bye, guys.
All right, let me stop the recording.
And let me just stare at Zencaster to make sure that my audio uploads.
Oh,
Oh,
look
my
at
files
that.
are finished uploading. That was
I
nice and
know.
quick. All right,
Well,
so
it's nice
we've got
and quick
something else
when-
to talk about, Jamal.
Yeah. All right, let's talk.
Just
Well,
with the community. Just with the
yes.
community.
Talk. Go for it.
So let me pull it up in the shared window so people can see it. So Niantic is hosting a product session for Niantic Wayfarer. About this event, it just says product session Lightship Wayfarer. So like, I don't know what they're going to be talking about,
Right.
but we're both registered.
We are
And,
registered. We'll
That's
be
at
there.
4 a.m. my time tomorrow morning. So I've got a little bit of time to prepare for that, and I've registered myself as a special listener from Australia.
Yes.
So,
So you know
we'll
what's
be
funny?
talking about that in episode 25.
I'm
we'll
going to
record on
be
Saturday.
I'm going to be in a company meeting tomorrow. So I think I'm going to have my earpiece in so I can listen to it while I'm in my company meeting. At least that's the plan. We'll see
Well,
how
I
that
hope
works out.
I hope they have a VOD of it, but I'll be taking notes, and
Yeah.
it's going to be one of our big discussion points on the next
Yep.
show.
Hopefully,
so if you happen,
yeah.
if 11 a.m. American time works for you, definitely try and register. Tickets are free. And I think that would be a good little session just to learn about where the Nianticisms are coming from and where they want to take Wayfarer.
That's 11 o'clock on the West Coast. So for the East Coast people, that's 2 o'clock. So
And for the Australians, 4 a.m.
4 a.m. Yeah. 4 It's nice at 4 a.m. What are you talking about? 4 a.m. is beautiful.
I get 8 hours of sleep, Jamal. So 4 a.m., if we work backwards, that's a very early end of the day for me.
Yeah.
See, Jason's
Now,
asleep.
Lachlan. Yeah, Jason's asleep. Now, this is going to be really cool. So, I like Lachlan said, I don't know what they're going to talk about, but God, this is going to be so interesting because the things that they're doing with Lightship are pretty revolutionary. I don't want to sound too like pie in the sky, but Lightship is really going to change the game for a lot of things going on, Niantic and just AR in general. So really pumped to see what they're going to talk about, and hopefully hopefully they pull the curtain back and really give us some good information.
Yeah, so I'm definitely looking forward to this. If you're going to watch it as well, Brett, that would be great. I'm just pulling up some nominations for us to do some quick naming before we finish things off. So I'm thinking rookie. Let's. You're pretty good at naming Wayspots, so let's find this one for you.
I just had a natural approved while we were recording the show. How about
good.
that? I don't get too many naturals. It was a volleyball court.
All right, I think we'll use this one because I think this is one I'll be able to send Pogo gifts from. So if I pull my screen back up. All right, so that's putting Jamal's face on top of the waste spot. We can't do that. Talk about being out on the waste spot. So this is a Rainbow Lorikeet. My description obviously needs an update here, which is why we've left it on hold.
It's a what?
It's a burb.
A Rainbow Larky?
Lorikeet.
Okay, all right. Is that like a
Have you
parakeet?
ever heard of the Rainbow Lorikeet?
I have not.
Jamal.
I've never been to Australia.
Educate you.
I've
These
never been to Australia.
Beautiful birds. Look at her. Isn't that a beautiful animal?
That is a beautiful animal.
These are like our pigeons. They have one of the most annoying noises ever, but they're beautiful. And they lorikeet paralysis syndrome. Good night, Justin. We'll talk soon, mate.
See you later, Justin.
So Rookie wants me to put this description in as
okay.
Beautiful bird painting on a pole outside. I believe it's the Silicon, the Buddhist temple on Johnson Road.
For everybody in the chat, While Lachlan is doing this, did everybody get a chance to hear the new bit we did with the Niantic Wayfarer commercial? Did you guys get a chance to hear that when we were doing it live? If you did not, I can play it again if you want to hear it. If you don't want to
No,
wait.
that's okay, Jamal. That's okay, Jamal.
They loved it.
You can chuck it
Somebody
on
missed
Twitter.
it.
I'll let you put it on Twitter.
No, you can't put audio bits on Twitter. Did you know that? You can't upload them on Twitter.
You can. You just put video in front of it.
Yeah,
Jamal, it's just we've got so much to teach you about how the internet works.
Twitter is not, Twitter is weird like that. But remember when I did my Niantic Be Better little minute speech, I put video in front of that and put it out there. Check the grammar, check the spelling.
Every year in Southeast Queensland and Northeast New South Wales, thousands of paralyzed, most significantly unable to fly or eat. It's important to educate people on sadly there is a rare I'll see, Rookie. This one doesn't really have pedestrian access, but it does have pedestrian access. There's just not a clear footpath to it. So I'm trying to make it like a 10-star. But also, I use all 512 characters in the description because I really like to sell it.
Oh my god,
looks illegal.
So
there's
that's
a rare
a good
virus.
dad joke pun right there. Okay, can we look at this for a second? It lights up, and I can wear it like a necklace. All right, Lachlan, after this, we're going to have to call it a night. It's nearing 1 a.m. Eastern time, and I have to get some beauty sleep before I have to go into work tomorrow.
You have beauty sleep?
I get beauty sleep, yeah. I may even put cucumbers on my eyes at night. You'll never know. Or actually, you will know. My cat's meowing. He wants to come inside. Hold on, Milo. Just a second. Yes, we need old person sleep at this point. Sea Princess, you are. What are you doing up past your bedtime anyway? You say that you're never up this late.
You should join the Zoom, Sea Princess. Anyway, thanks guys for hanging out. We'll be talking about the Lightship conference in episode 25, which we're not recording live, so you'll have to wait to hear our thoughts on that. But we'll be back next week. I'm going to try and see if Jamal's able to go live a little earlier next week before the Zoom. And we'll see if that can happen.
Here's the thing. Everybody on live stream right now, you have to promise that you're going to listen on Sunday when it drops. You can't
just mark it as played in your podcaster.
Yes. Well, because they'll have to listen to hear the dad jokes.
That counts. Well, just mark it as played.
Stop it. They won't listen for the dad jokes. All right, everybody. I will see you next week. Have a great night. Thank you for hanging out with the Wayspotters. We love you. Peace.
See you, Jamal. It's just me now. Live reviews are still on the table. Next week, we won't be recording a live show. This was just to try and get ahead of the curve, because historically we've been recording about 5-6 days ahead of release, but the last few shows Jamal's had less than 24 hours to turn around, so I'm just trying to give him a little bit more fun. Well, thanks for joining, Jason. It's always a privilege. Both of you, actually. You got Jason Marino and Jason Millett, but we're just starting to wrap up now as I finish this nomination. I'm definitely doing live reviews. We just wanted to make sure we had a chance to do some a recording as well. And I think Jamal's going to try and find another time in the week for us to also slide in some live reviews that are more reasonable time for most of the globe, which we've found to be late night Australian when everyone else is waking up. All right. So Jason wants some live reviews. All right, I will give you 4 minutes of live reviews. But I was thinking of doing it at the exact same time as Kev there, Sea Princess. Kev does it at a time that isn't suitable for the UK, unfortunately. Sure. That's a horrendous name. Well, I think Jamal's actually planning on getting Coach Kev to come in on a show in the near future, so I don't think that's really going to be an issue. I think inside baseball, I think Jamal's... So what's this weekend? So we're recording 25 on the weekend, 26 at some point next week, and then episode 27 will be featuring GoCast Chris and GoCast Kyle. So I just wanted to make sure we had a few weeks in between the Pokemon creators that we're bringing on. But Chris and Kyle have already spoken about that publicly on their own Discord community, so that's not really a spoiler. I don't know what the plan is in Seattle yet, Sea Princess. I'm more worried about where I'm sleeping for the other 24 days of the month that I'm not in Seattle. With other creators, Ken's been trying to find a time that suits both Cricket, myself, and Jamal to do some live streaming to talk Wayfarer, do some reviews, talk her through the process. So we're just trying to find a time that suits for that. Got to support our Aussies, but as she's part of that creator squad, she is busy flying around the globe over the next month or so. So that might actually happen in Seattle. That might be the first time we actually get to sit down with her, just where I know she has some downtime. But that's, nothing's been set in stone for that yet. But that's something Ken's been trying to figure out for us. La Bane. We'll see. No, I don't do this often. Live audience in the room for that. We'll see. It just depends on... And yes, I skipped that nomination because I really didn't have the time to think about it. Also, I hate this name. Put the park name in your title of your bleeping gazebos, friends. I know, Jason. I know. All right, what have we got? Oh, Andrew Lewis. I know him. I'm best friends with him in Pokemon Go. This is a good nomination. He's normally pretty good when it comes to location placement. Like, he doesn't try and fudge it for S2 cells. But that title is horrendous. Jason, I knew that was him because of his photosphere. That's a horrendous photo. Look, JT is a friend of the show, and we wanted to have him on, and it worked out quite entertainingly because he was also on Incensed last week, and Incensed and us drop our shows at the same time. So when that dropped, there was an hour and 40 minutes of him on Wayspotters, and there was an hour and 20 minutes of him on Incensed. So that was a cool little cross-promotional thing that we did, sort of like, your old TV crossovers in the US. The first one is not for the photo. I know, but these plot don't... Sea Princess. This is a 3-star. This is not a 5-star nomination. This is a 3-star. This is a yes, not a no. and not definitely yes, because that's how I see that scale. Also, like, basically the same text for the title and description. That's low effort. This is just a low effort nomination. Has cultural significance. Benches are not visually unique. Exactly. Being a university campus, they're probably important to the university. And I can't be sure that the location is in fact correct. All right. Well, you can review this one for me then, Sea Princess. It's also weird not having any background noise. Let's see if I can fix that. Brand, background music. I just need something going on. It's a little bit too loud, isn't it? Okay. I just need something in the background, otherwise I will go crazy here. 5 stars for this. All right. Here's a supporting photo for you. You can quite clearly see it over there. No, you can't quite see one of my waste spots on the nearby here. So you want me to drop the stars off the... All right. They also put the pin out the front of the gate, not inside where the bottle is. So should I move the pin to where the actual bottle is, Sea Princess? Because the correct location would be here. I'm seeing it as the art installation on the business there. I'm not seeing it as the business itself. Do not move pin. I don't see any waste spots in the area except that one. I am a local rookie. This is my area. I am a local. I'm actually surprised I hadn't found this one yet. This is my area. I can move what I want. Hey, Woodwoes. Well, I'm going to start, and I'll focus on the description in this. This survey marker was installed on the 15th of January 1965. A lot of important advancements in land surveying and geomatics used globally came from Australia, which is a very large industry for it. And this marker being from the 1960s has contributed to this global endeavor. All right. Well, this is really selling it for me. And what's their supporting info here saying? Survey markers like this are mentioned by Niantic Wayfarer on Twitter as really important to global real-world wayfinding. See here for their tweet on the topic. There's a lot of street view in the area Sea Princess, which is misaligned with its actual. It was misaligned with a lot of actual. With the way the road and satellite view works. So if I pulled that one up on satellite view, it would have been clearly on the sidewalk there. I just know that because that's a unique part of the area, and as a person who lives in that postcode, I know it quite well. I actually know who submitted that one, and I may have assisted them in writing that description. The color of nature. This is more of a color of nature. Look, they asked me, how would you sell this? Because they saw Niantic's tweet. And I said, look, this is how I would sell it. Now, these guys have tried a lot to try and get this nomination in. Historically, they've been submitting the inside of the shop, so I'm happy to see that they're actually submitting the outside. I probably would have made the focus more this here and not the Unit 1, because this looks like they're submitting Unit 1. So would you have rather I skipped that nomination, Rookie? Because I was able to tell who the submitter was. I didn't do the nomination for them. They just simply said, how would you sell it? And I just said, this is how I would sell it. They didn't use my text word for word. And they asked for me to get them the link to the Niantic tweet on the topic. So, look, quite proudly saying that because, they asked for help on a nomination. I provided some help. That nomination. So, is this one you're not a huge fan of? So, what's sort of sparking alarm bells in my head? Well, again, I linked them to the tweet. I'm not going to say what was my words and what wasn't. So this is a flat out lie in the description here. I know for a fact that they aren't an NDIS linked provider. So we'll just put that to the side. But it is a good little Pokemon hobby shop, and I'm surprised they haven't applied for a public thing. So I'm going to give this a 4-star on the text. But I like game shops like this. That's a great logo they've got for their shop here. This really should be like their center of their primary photo, not this. Oh, is this a duplicate? I haven't got there yet. Oh, it is a duplicate. So that's why we get to the dupe checker. Well, the location seems to be in a completely different location here, Jamal. Not Jamal, Brett. So have they moved recently? Let's compare the... So the front door appears to have changed, as you can see there. But they've moved to next to the Centenary Dance Academy. They should be putting in a location change request. Not a fan. What, like me? That's my area. I've submitted things over there. Concord. Okay, American. Trailhead. 5-star. Brown Mill mountain bike track. Sure. Although the naming conventions change between nominations, this seems pretty good to me. This particular object is visual uniqueness and would have safe access. Let's check the sat view. and it's likely to appear in that location. All right. Well, good night, Sea Princess. I'm going to do another 3 reviews, and then I'm done as well for the day. I'm going to do them as my normal review speed. One. This could have been a better clipped photo, but look. Rail trail, perfect. This is a footpath trail. Not a duplicate of that. Bullock Dray in the Upper Murray. Bullock Dray, this is a duplicate. Excuse me, princess. That just looks like a third-party photo. Let's zoom in on this. That's just a clean photo. Wild. Anyway, guys, hi for a minute, John Waffles. We're going to try and do a better time at some point next week for everyone. And yes, I don't review as much as Jamal. I'm happy to show people that. But we're working towards our next upgrade here. Thanks for joining. I'm going to try and find a time later in the week for Jamal and I to jump on and do some reviews, probably later in the Australian day and middle of the day US / early UK time. It might happen to be Sunday as we release the podcast. I'll have to sit down with Jamal and find a time that suits him. All right. Thanks, guys. Catch you on the next one. And go submit some Wayspots this week for me.